Welcome everyone to our first webinar of many to the ICB USA. My name is Louis Prosperi, and if this sounds like I'm reading, kind of am. So wouldn't forget what I had to say. I'll get better at this as time goes on. Just let you know, I am really excited and happy to be with all of you. But before we start, I'd like to talk about ICB USA a little bit, just a little bit. And what I'd like to start off with is that we're a professional organization dedicated to the advancement and professional recognition of professional bookkeepers here in the USA. And through our affiliated global association around ICB Global, we do the same thing around the world. We've been around for almost 20 years globally. We've only been in the US for maybe about 2. Last year, I would have to apologize. Some of you who have been with us, we took a little break from about May onwards to relook at our certification and exam process to see how we can make it a better fit. When we first came in, there was a big learning curve, and we took all of that and realized that we could do a better job. So what we've done up until probably December is looked at our certification program, our exam process, and added staffing to help better support the ICB USA. And Jennifer North is our new staff who just started this year as our administrative manager in January. So the redesign will allow us to better support the professionals, because our goal at the end of the day is to be the place where you will become recognized, and you'll have the tools and the certification to make sure that everybody knows where you are and at what professional level you are at. One of the things that we like to express to all of you is that we're passionate about professional bookkeepers and the profession. And that's one of the reasons why me and Ingrid really connected and became very close friends, because she's an extremely passionate person when it comes to establishing the profession and making sure we get recognized. We've had some very nice discussions, I guess would be a good way to put it. We're very close, and terminology is a little bit different. She's a little ahead of us, and that's why she's one of our thought leaders and one of our fellows. But definitely passion is something that when you start to get to know the association better is a great way to describe us. I'd like to introduce you shortly to Jennifer North, our new admin partner. She's been a professional bookkeeper for the longest time, had a bunch of practices, so she could easily relate to all of you. And also, she's got a great marketing background, and she's been in the entertainment business. She's also a painter. So a very, very eclectic person. She's not here right now, but she will be one of the people that will assist. Now, my favorite part, which is to introduce a very special and dear friend of mine, Ingrid. I was very lucky to meet her last year when I got involved with the ICB USA. I think it was in May and June. We finally met in person, and what really attracted to me was her passion and her desire to help people and to talk about what the profession is all about. She's a driven lady. And she has a bookkeeping business firm called, Polymath LLC, and she's known to her staff and customers as the priestess of profits. She's also been recognized as one of the accounting professionals' top 40 under 40 powerful women in accounting, and the 2017 top up-and-comer in Pro Advisor. So, get me off the screen, I would like to introduce you to our thought leader in the profession and our friend, Ms. Ingrid Edstrom.
Shucks, thanks, Louis. Before we dive in, actually, there was a question for you in the chat. Sandy Stricken posted, does ICB offer any study materials for those who would like to become certified?
That is great. What we focused on was the levels of certification and allowing your pathways to become professional as a way we will accept it, like your experience and your education. The only thing is we have an exam at the high-end level, at the professional level, which is finally complete. What we've decided to do is is develop a prep program for it, just in case you want to take it. And that should be ready and launched either the end of February or March. So you can have two options. One is you can wait for it to become a member, wait for the prep program to come out, or you could take the exam. And if you were not successful, you can always take the prep program after. It's your choice, but the long answer is yes. We have something coming up.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and steal the screen share from you, Louis.
Fantastic. And I'm going to just mute and stop video, so it'll just be you unless someone wants me back.
Okay, hold on. I see somebody raised their hand. Robert Larry raised his hand. Robert, if you can go ahead and post any questions you have in the chat, that would be fantastic. Once I get rolling in the PowerPoint, I'm not going to be able to see the Q&A or hands raised. So Louis and Jennifer are going to help me out by keeping an eye on the chat, and they'll let me know at certain parts throughout the presentation if there are questions. And if you have any questions about troubleshooting Zoom, you can also post that in the chat. Oh, Arden says applause. Thanks so much, Arden. That's very sweet.
Fantastic.
Yay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Ta-da! If anyone can't see my screen, please go ahead and post that as well in the chat. And there should be some little talking head bubbles of me and probably Louis and Jennifer off the screen. And at the top of that little window, just a little Zoom house painting thing, you can hide that little thumbnail video if it's in your way of seeing the full screen share. Or you can click, if you hover over the 4 different icons at the top of that bubble, you can see one that says show small active speaker video or show thumbnail video. Right now I'm looking at the thumbnail video so I can see me and then 2 little black boxes that say Louis and Jennifer in them. As we roll in here, I'm actually going to see if I can view the chat while I am. Yes, I can. There we go. I want to see really quick in the chat who's in the room right now. Can you post if you're a bookkeeper, if you're a tax accountant, if you're something else entirely? I just want to get a quick poll of who we have on the call today. Sandy's a bookkeeper, Becky's a bookkeeper, bookkeeper, lots of bookkeepers. Yes, bookkeeper extraordinaire, potential bookkeeper, welcome. Fantastic, lots of bookkeepers in the room. Oh, we've got a tax accountant. Welcome, Nita. Accountant, bookkeeper, tax accountant, bookkeeper, payroll professional. Oh, and Melissa says, for those who have signed up with ICB USA previously, oh, sorry, scroll on past, lots and lots of bookkeepers. Accounting professor, welcome, Anwar. So lots of great people, mostly bookkeepers. Really, really excited to have all of you on the call here today. We've got a great group. One thing I want to remind you as we are going through, and I'm going to minimize the chat again, is go ahead and keep your eyes on these slides while we're going through here. I know that on a webinar, it's really easy to start multitasking and checking your email and such like that as we're going through. However, these slides, I'm not going to be reading them. This is not that kind of webinar. I'm a more interactive presenter, and these slides are somewhat visually engaging. So I do recommend that you keep your eyes on the slides and at least come back once in a while if you have to multitask, because I know that sometimes it can be hard not to. You will miss some really cool stuff if you're not paying attention. So I'm going to whip through this kind of quickly. I also want to let everyone know that I do have a little bit of an upper respiratory thing going on. It's one of those things in public speaking of, you know, oftentimes people say, oh, just don't say anything. They won't even notice. I'm going to mute myself occasionally so I don't cough in your ear. And it's one of those things that you will notice. You're getting the lounge singer version of me this morning, morning here Pacific time. So as I am sitting here sipping my ginger tea, thanks to my mug is a Scaling New Heights mug, thanks to the Woodard group here, I will try to keep my voice steady for you. So let's go ahead and dive in. As Louis said, I'm Ingrid Edstrom. I'm the Priestess of Profits at Polymath LLC. And this is my awesome team. We have a tiny little bookkeeping firm in a tiny little town in Southern Oregon. And in addition to the bookkeeping work that we do, we like to do a lot of education. Our vision here at Polymath is to make the world a better place, built on a foundation of thriving small businesses. And we like to educate. We like to educate our clients, and we also like to help our colleagues in the accounting industry. We understand that we can't change the world all by ourselves. We can't help every small business in the world, just me and Vanessa. So by having you on the call here today, we're helping other accounting professionals who in turn help other small businesses. So this is pretty much the highest realization of our professional vision. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you here today. Some of you may or may not have seen some of the videos on our website and on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube show called Ask a Bookkeeper, where we do bookkeeping and business tutorial videos with puppets. It's like we're working to create for the small business world what Bill Nye does for science, taking the big intimidating ideas and making them more approachable, more fun. So we like to do things a little bit differently. We're a little crazy on that side of things. We're used to being a bit of the black sheep among so-called normal professional people, which is one of the reasons why I got really confused when this kind of thing started to happen. Just a couple years ago, all of a sudden, all these professional people at conferences and things were looking at me from our little tiny firm. And here you are on this discussion today, having this discussion with me, thanks to Louie and the ICB. It's a little scary. I was named one of the top 40 under 40 and one of the most powerful women in accounting by CPA Practice Advisor magazine. And guess what? I am not a CPA. I am a bookkeeper. So what if they notice? What if they notice that I'm not a CPA? What if you notice you're an accounting professional? What if a real accountant were to take a look at our little bookkeeping firm and determine that we're not doing it right? What if you, on this call today, listening to me talk at you, were to find out that I'm some crazy carny and you decide that you don't want me at your conferences anymore? Is that something that I should be afraid of? Well, I've been to the conferences and I figured out I'm not alone. This picture was taken at SleaderCon a couple years ago. SleaderCon is the conference that turned into AccountEx, if any of you heard of that one. That's Doug Sleater right in the middle there in the apron. The point is that accountants are really cool. You're not just a bunch of stuffy professionals. We all have various things that we're passionate about. And the important thing is for each of us to be our true, authentic selves with each other and with our clients. And another part of our human authenticity is fear. And many of you also have the same fears that I have. The number one fear of every entrepreneur is the fear of being called as a fake. Having some other professional say to us, who do you think you are, calling yourself a business owner when you don't know everything there is to know about running a small business? That's a big one. Some of the big things that keeps our clients from reaching out to us as their accounting professionals for an appointment. They're afraid that we're going to judge them for their lack of knowledge rather than raising them up. Well, many accounting professionals on the call here today are small business owners with that same fear. And for bookkeepers, that fear is often, who do you think you are? Saying you're an accountant. You don't do taxes. You're not a CPA. You're not a real accountant, right? It's a common one for bookkeepers. We actually hear that. Many of us are seen as less knowledgeable or less qualified because we don't prepare tax returns or audits. And we feel like we're not allowed to use the word accountant because it doesn't apply to us or because it may even be illegal in some states. Well, guess what? It does apply to us. At least according to Google, it does. The first synonym listed here for the word accountant is bookkeeper, not tax preparer, not auditor, bookkeeper. And as a bookkeeper, I am a management accountant. I help my clients understand their finances so that they can make educated business decisions. I have a lot of awesome colleagues who are tax accountants. They prepare tax returns and give tax advice. And I also have colleagues that do both tax and management accounting, but I decided a long time ago that I wanted to specialize on the management side. I would rather be playing my favorite video game, which happens through QuickBooks Online, or advising my clients and talking with them about how to achieve their big, awesome dreams. I would rather be doing those things than poring over tax law. Tax is not my bag. I am a bookkeeping nerd, and I can leave the taxes to the tax nerds. So this is where things get a little weird. This, on the slide right here, is a problem. This definition probably hasn't been updated since Webster was founded in 1828. Full definition of bookkeeper, a person who records the accounts or transactions of a business? I don't think so. Okay, so how about Wikipedia then? This is also a problem. A bookkeeper is a person who records the day-to-day financial transactions of a business. He or she is usually responsible for writing the day books, which contain records of purchases, sales receipts, and payments. Guess what? I'm a bookkeeper. This is not what I do. I have an app for this, several of them, in fact. So if any of you are looking for nice little quotable tweet-tastic moments in this presentation, I've made a few slides just for you. You can go ahead and screenshot these and post them on your Pinterest or however you want to do it. The generic term bookkeeper currently has a dictionary definition that no longer fits the profession as a whole. It follows us everywhere, and it is no longer working in our best interest or the interest of our clients. So over the next 40-something minutes, we're going to talk about redefining bookkeeper. These are our main objectives. We're going to talk about the role of bookkeeper in an app world, different levels of bookkeeper, controller, CFO, pricing and communicating value, keeping up with advances in tech and trade, and important action steps that will rock our industry. They basically come down to who cares about this stuff, why it's so important, and what we're going to do about it. Sound good? Everyone on track? I'm going to check the chat really quick. Yay. Okay, everyone's saying sounds great, all good? Okay, so it sounds like we are on. So first off, who cares about this stuff? Well, apparently you do because you're here on the call with us today. Thanks again. And also the Wall Street Journal cares about this. Wall Street Journal, May 5th, 2015 says automation is threatening to replace swaths of white-collar workers, much as mechanical robots have displaced blue-collar workers on assembly lines. Among those in jeopardy are accounts payable clerks, inventory control analysts, and accounts receivable clerks. This was 2.5 years ago, and a lot has advanced already since then. So when the Wall Street Journal says robot, in our case, in the accounting world, they're referring to the thousands of new software applications coming out to streamline the data management processes. And these are just a few of our favorites here at Polymath, my little bookkeeping firm. Are these apps our enemies? When you go out into the exhibit hall at an accounting conference like QuickBooks Connect or Scaling New Heights, are the people at these booths laughing at us behind our backs because they haven't gotten the hint yet that they're making us obsolete? No, they need us just as much as we need them. And the awesome partnerships that we form with these tools and the wonderful teams behind these tools make our jobs so much more effective and rewarding. Now, the other robots that the Wall Street Journal is referring to are the artificial intelligence software bots that are coming out over the next few years that will have a degree of analytical thinking to automate even more compliance tasks. So a bot that is like that is the one in the upper left-hand corner, Flight by Finagraph. That is a fantastic program that is just coming out that uses artificial intelligence to help give us as accounting professionals early warning heads up. It's analyzing the client's data and popping up red flags for us. It's really, really cool. I highly recommend checking it out. Now, what these bots do not have is the ability to advise our clients with heart and encourage them to pursue their dreams. Machines may be evolving brains, but they do not have heart, gut, or imagination. We need real human connection in our businesses. That is what makes all of this so fun and worthwhile. And we need to change the way that we work with our clients in order to do all of this. So here's another little tweet-tastic moment for you. The role of bookkeeper has gone from that of recorder and bean counter to a role of expert and trusted advisor. The advances in technology and software have opened up so many opportunities for us to diversify in our profession. Because data entry has been rendered obsolete and is no longer necessary, bookkeepers have the opportunity to do something that is so much cooler than data entry. And what's more, our tax accounting allies have their own apps to keep up with. They would rather be offering tax advisory services. Many tax accountants don't want to have to learn and support the software related to management accounting. And so the bookkeeper's expertise with the day-to-day management accounting support is becoming more valuable than it ever has been before. Accountants are specializing in the same way that a brain surgeon is more specialized than a general practitioner, and those services are worth more. This can be a great advantage to each of us in the accounting profession so long as we see each other as resources rather than competition. So these are the key issues that we are encountering. One, our clients and many of our colleagues don't realize that things have changed. Two, there's no required credential for the bookkeeping industry in the United States. So we have a bunch of people who are calling themselves bookkeepers who actually don't really have a clue what they're doing. Maybe they, did a little bit of data entry at a job and now they're, starting out. We all have to start somewhere. That's a good thing, but we need to start setting standards. And currently, there's no standard that's required. So what's the difference between a bookkeeper and a bookkeeper? Three, the misinformation about our profession is often more public and widely spread than the correct message that we need to be putting out there. And I'm going to give you an example. I grabbed this from something that the fantastic Suchi Sable posted on Between Wall and Main Facebook group with the comment, "Look what I found on Pinterest, cringe." I'm going to do a little animation here. I made it myself. Ta-da! Start a bookkeeping business from home, no experience required. This post sparked a lot of great discussion in that forum about what it means to be a bookkeeper, what experience is really needed before someone can rightfully assume the title, and how everyone needs to begin somewhere. We were all brand new at this once. The question is, have you ever claimed to have expertise in an area where you're actually lacking? Or do you own your real level of experience in whatever area you're discussing? This issue is not exclusive to bookkeepers. The services provided by full CPAs can vary widely. And just because someone has a degree doesn't mean that they're familiar with that one obscure law that only pertains to one industry in one state. No experience required? Experience is the most important piece, and that applies in whatever we do. The problem is that people hear the words accountant and bookkeeper and they make assumptions about our experience. So these problems persist because the world has not yet caught on that the bookkeeper is no longer an entry-level position that just does data entry. Heck, most of our colleagues are behind the times on these changes because they're not here with us right now on this webinar, or at AccountTex, or QuickBooks Connect, or Scaling New Heights, or the myriad of other continuing education opportunities that they may or may not even be aware of. The simple fact that you are here on this webinar means that you are part of an elite group of people in the accounting profession, people who care about improving themselves and their businesses. And then they bring the things that they learn back to the businesses and the communities that they serve. Right now, I'm preaching to the choir. And I thank you all so much for being here today, because each of you is the driving force behind this evolution in the accounting profession. And together, we can address these problems. And there's one really good way to address all three. Education. Here I am preaching to the choir. And now it's up to each of you to bring this message back to all of the accountants and bookkeepers in your local communities that are not here with us today. And keep in mind that those local communities can also be virtual communities. You can post in forums and Facebook groups. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Here's another tweet-tastic slide for you. Bookkeeping is now a highly specialized profession that requires an amazing combination of tech savvy, business acumen, and people skills. But our community doesn't know it yet. And they won't know it unless we tell them. So seriously, start today and post this on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, then do Facebook. No Facebook, then email it to your kids and tell them to post it along with a comment about how proud they are about how much you rock because you're an accounting professional. And when we're done here today, share this presentation with your colleagues and let's get the word out about how things have changed. So the next tricky thing is that so much has changed so quickly that sometimes it's hard to understand and explain all the changes. Who are we now? We have all of these different titles being thrown around because people don't want to say that they're just a bookkeeper anymore. So what fits? Does anything really fit? Who am I? Who are you? A lot of accountants these days don't do tax preparation or consulting, yet people assume that they can just ask us tax questions at a party. And that also comes into play when we make assumptions about each other's areas of knowledge and specialization. So how often do we tell our clients, oh, your accountant should know this, or your bookkeeper can help you with that? Do we check in with that other professional on our client's team before making that assertion? Have we made it clear to each other what services we offer or what areas we specialize in? So let's talk about this little identity crisis of ours for a moment. What titles do you use in your marketing materials? Are the words on this slide what people Google when they're looking for your services? What do each of these things even mean? So I'm going to give you some cool tools that will help you to get it. And then you in turn can help to explain it more effectively to our peers and your clients. And I'm going to mute for just a moment so that I'm not coughing in your ear. Thank you, and pardon me again. For those of you who missed the entry to this, I have a little bit of an upper respiratory thing going on, so I will occasionally be sipping my ginger tea and muting myself so I don't cough at you. So, some cool tools that can help you understand some of this. And don't worry, you don't need to read all of this detail. I just want to provide it here to give you an idea of the scope that we are dealing with here. If you want to look at this in more detail later, go ahead and take a screenshot of this, and you can have some great reading material later to put you to sleep. It's not actually that interesting. This is how things used to be. You can see by this slide how bookkeeper was lower on the scale of both complexity and analytical thinking needed to perform certain tasks for a small business or for a large business. You can also see that I've split bookkeeping into two distinct areas: data entry bookkeeping and what was previously known as full charge bookkeeping services. What is that even supposed to mean? Full charge? Is it like full service? Do we do windows? The term full charge has always driven me crazy because no one has ever really known what it's meant. If you ask 10 professional bookkeepers or accountants what full charge means, you will get 19 different answers. The important piece of all of this is actually for the business owner, our clients, to understand what level of expertise do they need to perform certain roles that they need to delegate within their business. One of the problems with this diagram is that a lot of the common expectations of controllers and CFOs were based upon giant companies who hire CPAs full-time to fill those roles internally. Our small business clients did not create the job descriptions for those roles. And comparing the needs of a small business to a major corporation is like comparing apples to elephants. So this is my favorite way to look at it. Once again, this is just for scope. You don't have to read all of this. Believe it or not, this is a zoomed in Venn diagram. We've taken the old paradigm and we've demonstrated here how it's slowly changing over the last 10 years or so, and is changing even more rapidly now, when we're showing the progression of those changes with the overlapping circles. So the black text on this slide shows where bookkeeper, CFO, and controller and CPA share some responsibility. Many tax preparers do a bit of bookkeeping and other financial management on the side. Some CPAs choose not to do taxes at all. And yet there are also tax preparers such as enrolled agents, licensed tax consultants, licensed tax preparers that aren't CPAs. They can't do quite everything that a CPA does, but they can prepare most small business tax returns. They're not even on this slide. So I don't want to do tax. That's the tax accountant's job, and we're happy to leave it to them. I do, however, want to play in some of the bigger advisory areas. Maybe you want to do some of that, maybe you don't. Here's where it gets really fun. The blue and the red text is the next stage of evolution. It's where we are now. These are the areas where many bookkeepers are starting to collaborate with other members of a business's professional team to offer deeper advisory services to the business on a more regular basis. We like to say at Polymath that the business owner is the coach of the soccer team, and we are playing on their team for them to win. Also on that team, maybe their CPA, their attorney, their business coach, their financial advisor, so many other players. Not everyone in our field of accounting likes this collaborative kind of approach, but we at Polymath really enjoy working on a team. We're not afraid to let a client know when we don't have the answers to their questions, because we're happy to bring in and work with an ally that specializes in those areas, and then we get to learn more. The point is that many bookkeepers are now serving in roles that go far beyond the traditionally understood concept of bookkeeping, just keeping the day books. As a result, many of us have started taking on other titles to demonstrate our professional capacity. We call ourselves freelance controllers and CFOs, even though most of us don't deal with SEC and SOX compliance or even ERP systems. A lot of small businesses don't even need those tools, but what they do need are the industry-specific software applications that fit their businesses. So not knowing all of the alphabet soup on this slide does not necessarily mean that a bookkeeper is a fake. It means that they specialize in other areas that could really benefit you in having them on your client's team. We can collaborate with each other. If your client needs an industry-specific piece of software and it's something that you're not familiar with, yeah, you can learn it. You can also bring in another person to help you with it. Being a freelance CFO for a small business is very different from being CFO of Ford Motor Company or for a major wealth management firm. It doesn't make the title any less true. I am a CEO. That is my technical title as leading partner in a corporation that needs officers. The fact that we are a tiny firm in a small town does not invalidate that one bit. It is simply economy of scale. So let's break down the walls a little bit. You see how I did that? Accountants and bookkeepers are adapting to different niches within the accounting industry as the landscape of our industry changes. Now, a quick little tangent. I have a confession to make. I don't have a degree in accounting or in business. My degree is in biology, more specifically vertebrate zoology and animal behavior. Nonetheless, I do have one of those brains that eats double entry bookkeeping for breakfast. QuickBooks is my favorite video game, and I am a bookkeeping nerd through and through. It is not, however, my only love. I really enjoy putting my cognitive paramours, so to speak, in a little room in my brain and seeing what kinds of discussions arise. And this is where things get really cool. Another little animation for you. Da, 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 da. In Charles Darwin's research on evolution, he discovered how the beaks of Galapagos finches would change dramatically over just a couple of generations based upon the environmental conditions on the islands. As the finch changes and adapts to be able to crack nuts and seeds of different size and hardness, does it make the bird no longer a finch? No. It is still the same animal. It's just evolved and specialized into new species and subspecies. In biology, we call this adaptive radiation. Organisms can diversify from an ancestral species very rapidly when the environment changes. And these changes create new niches based upon the resources and challenges now present in that environment. Notice the similarity in language here. We've been talking about niches in our profession. It's no coincidence that we use the same language in biology. Riches are in the niches. This is how we adapt. And what our profession is doing right now is following a very natural progression. There's no need to be scared or fight it or judge. Just focus on the seeds or the clients that you like best and let nature do the rest. So this is what's happened in the bookkeeping and accounting profession. We're all accountants, and we now just have a beautiful diversity of niche skills to choose from. Those of us who have chosen to keep up with the technology and lead the revolution know that the bookkeeper is not going extinct, quite the opposite. We are evolving. While the advances in software and technology have replaced a myriad of the things previously done by bookkeeping professionals, rather than forcing us out, these environmental changes have just created a variety of new opportunities in our profession. Business owners are experiencing new pain points and problems that they don't know how to deal with or troubleshoot on their own. Enter the bookkeeping software experts, helping the business owners stay up to date on the tools that will help their company grow while troubleshooting and maintaining these new elaborate systems. The software expert takes as many forms as there are software applications to choose from. And with the thousands of apps and platforms available, it has already become impossible to keep up with them all. At our firm, our beaks, so to speak, are particularly well suited to QuickBooks Online, and we are happy to leave the Sage and Xero clients to you other birdies. So what name do we choose? Are we freelance CFO or controller? How about trusted advisor? The term trusted advisor has already started to be devalued by people using it inappropriately. Having people who are just doing compliance tasks, just doing the reconciliations and maybe sending a P&L and balance sheet, but not actually advising based upon those reports. If someone who's just doing compliance work is calling himself a trusted advisor and not actually doing advisory services, it makes trusted advisor mean less. So where do we draw the lines? Well, try asking yourself, what is my client looking for? A finch is still a finch, regardless of the shape of its beak. And often the business owner doesn't know what shape beak they need for their environment. By coming up with all these new titles, we make it harder for our clients to search for us online. We don't want to have to come out with a bird watching book just to make it so that members of the small business community can identify members of our accounting community so that they can find us. We need to make it easy for them. That is marketing 101. If we in the accounting industry don't understand this fully, how can we expect our clients to understand it? So what are people searching for? They're searching for a bookkeeper. They're searching for accountant. No small business owner is Googling trusted advisor or even CFO. In the end, we are bookkeepers and we are accountants, and we need to own it. Take it back. What's more, we need to build our professional networks of other accounting specialists so that we can refer our clients when they need help in specific areas. I was at the symposium for the CPA Practice Advisor Top 40 Under 40 Thought Leaders a handful of months ago, and I heard from accounting professionals in large firms who were growing concerned that small firms are taking their clients. And one of them even said to me, "You're winning." My response was, "Why are we competing?" I'm not competing. Competition is a competition is a limiting belief. We all just need to find the right fit of client for each of us. And there are tons of businesses out there who need accountants and are actively searching for someone who is as nerdy about their passion as they are. As accounting professionals, we need to get to know each other better. Get to know who you're recommending and what their specialty is. This is a dialogue, and we are in this together. So the Institute for Certified Bookkeepers, thanks Louis, created this fantastic table which breaks down this evolution for bookkeepers a little more simply than my extravagant Venn diagrams. The ICB's fantastic new education and certification programs are helping to spring our industry forward by setting levels and guidelines within the bookkeeping industry and setting forth clear standards and expectations to meet the current modern criteria while still allowing room for ongoing adaptation, growth, and specialization. Out with the old, in with the new. A pretty big question remains, though. With these changes, going from general practitioners to brain surgeons of our profession, how does that affect our pricing? Ron Baker and Ed Kless teach fantastic courses on value pricing. So we're not going to get into the specific ins and outs of how to value price here. There's great information about that. I highly recommend looking up Ron Baker and Ed Kless. What I will say in this little tweet-tastic moment is that hourly pricing is a waste of valuable time and energy, and it is well worth your time to start gaining some education on fixed and value pricing if you haven't done so already. What we are going to touch on in this webinar here today are the specific pricing roadblocks that we are facing in our unique situation in the bookkeeping world. Charging an hourly rate to do things in a way that technology is rendered obsolete is a losing battle. So before we break into this, though, I do want to check the chat and do a quick poll. How are you pricing? Are you on value price packages, fixed price, hourly, or a mix thereof? Go ahead and post in the chat, and I'll take a look at the chat. And also, Louis and Jennifer, if there was anything in the chat we've got a nice mix: fixed value, fixed, flat value, value, mixed value. Great, a lot of value pricing. This is really exciting. We do have a couple hourly. And I did see one question up here: when will the slides be available? There will be a recording of this available through ICB. Louis and Jennifer, if there were any other questions that were popping up that people wanted to have addressed from earlier, feel free to unmute yourself and toss those out so that we can not forget about them while we're in the moment.
Someone's asking if these slides will be available at the end.
We can make them available, sure. So if you go to the ICB website where you registered for this, we can go ahead and make the PDF available for download there. That'll probably be a nice, easy way to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the chat again. All right, so these are our specific pricing hurdles. We need to make sure that the price of our services doesn't exceed the value that our clients receive from our services. We can create elaborate tech systems for our clients, but if their business isn't successful, it's kind of a waste. We need to be able to honestly and ethically advise our clients on the cost benefit of our role in their business and educate them if our services aren't going to be worthwhile to them. 2, we need to communicate our increased value to our clients and to our colleagues that are behind the times on this evolution. They don't know that our beaks are now highly specialized and that we are now brain surgeons, so we need to show them. And 3, we need to get out of our own way and support each other. The changes that we're pioneering right now in the profession are not easy for people to understand. And when people don't understand, they may react negatively toward us now and then. So the best way to overcome all of those hurdles is simply by doing it anyway. Dive into fixed and value price packages and just give it a try. Start with one client at a time and collaborate with your colleagues. Learn what works for them, and by trial and error, you will learn what works best for you. It takes practice. You will need to take risks, and it's not a game of simple solutions. It is worth it. You may need to let go of some clients for whom having an advisor on their team is not currently worth the investment. There will be clients who don't think that your services are worth it, whether they can afford them or not. And you may need to defend the value of your services to clients and to colleagues who question the value you bring. You won't always be able to convince them, and that is okay. Move on. They will either catch up or they won't. What we're describing here is a win-win, and it can be challenging for people who are stuck in a zero-sum game mindset, where in order for someone to win, somebody else has to lose. If you're not sure what I'm referring to here by zero-sum game mindset and the idea of win-win, I highly recommend reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It is fantastic. The point is, don't let someone else's fear of change hold you back. When we are pioneering in our profession and carving new paths for others to follow, there will be plenty of people who question whether we're going the right way. Fortunately, we don't have to be the first. I previously thought that this evolution had become the norm among professionals serving larger companies, and that it was now just finally reaching the core population of accountants and bookkeepers serving small businesses. When I was at the 40 Under 40 Thought Leader Symposium at Rootworks, I learned that I was incorrect in that assumption. It turns out that the largest accounting firms are actually way behind us on some of this because they can't pivot on a dime like we can in the small business world. If we want to change something in our businesses, we make up our minds and we just do it. We don't need to clear it with senior partners who are aging and afraid that an expensive software transition is going to eat up their pension. That's one of the reasons why many accountants are now leaving large firms to forge their own paths, and they're trying to figure out where to start. The question remains there, where does that leave those larger firms in their succession planning? Who comes after you? Do you have an exit plan in your practice? If you're not keeping up with the changes in the profession, is your business going to be worth anything down the road? It's up to us as accounting professionals to forge ahead with what's changing and be the change that we wish to see. You are not behind in this evolution. You are right on track, and you don't have to worry about anyone calling you a fake or questioning your integrity. If they do, go ahead and ignore them. They're probably just scared, and that's okay. Still, we have a lot to learn, and we always will have a lot to learn. We also need to help each other, our clients, and our other professional colleagues to get on track with these ideas. That doesn't have to be difficult. In fact, it's a lot of fun. Find the people that you groove with, like these awesome ladies on the slide right here, and you'll quickly find that you can help them with things, and they can help you. It's very empowering to have a community of professional support, and you get to learn that you really do know your stuff. That is a big part of what the ICB is for. You don't have to worry about being called a fake. Just put yourself out there and build the relationships. Even if you're just getting started, that doesn't mean you're a fake. It means that you're just getting started, and there are people out there who want to help you. As far as keeping up with the technology, don't even try. This is a picture from a year or so ago of the AccountText technology ecosystem, and it's actually expanded quite a bit since this version. The new version wouldn't even fit on the slide. I had a total nerd moment when I first saw this because I have been looking for a diagram like this for years. It is boggling to understand where all the different apps fit. The point is that we can't. We cannot keep up with every piece of software out there while still maintaining our client relationships. After scaling new heights in 2015, which was my first professional conference that I attended, I wanted to try all of the apps. We dove in and we implemented almost a dozen new pieces of software within just a couple of months. And as much as that is a big part of what got us third place in the Intuit Firm of the Future contest that year, I want to admit to you right now that it was too much, too fast. Pick one at a time, just one. I am no longer insecure or feel inadequate when a colleague says to me, "Oh, don't you know about that one? Look at them all." No, I don't know every single one, but I do listen. We don't need to be pros at them all. We can just pay attention and try to pick up the ones that we think are going to make sense for us. If you're not leading your profession, then someone else is. And currently, the technology is leading our accounting profession. We need to step in and be in front of the technology, partner with the apps that our clients use, and help them to develop the tools that will make our lives and our clients' life easier. One moment. Pardon me once again. So this is what we've done here at Polymath. We've been pursuing a niche in cultural and adventure tour companies. That's right, we are the Safari Accountants. We specialize in wanderlust. There are several industry-specific apps that are not on this slide because they're not accounting technology ecosystem. There are several industry-specific apps for the tourism niche that are just coming out, and they are very well-meaning, but they don't have a clue about how to make a booking workflow for a tour company that also creates meaningful reports for accounting purposes. Those apps are desperate for feedback, and playing with them is a lot of nerdy fun. We're helping them to make their software better, and as a result, that sets up us as the expert in that area. So what do you love to do that you might want to specialize in? We love travel. What's your niche? And I'm actually going to pause and look at the chat again. Is anybody niching anything? I want to hear really quick. Any niches in the room? Nonprofit, says Lisa. Fitness industry, Jennifer, great. Construction trades, web development, fantastic. Outdoor services, lots of great niches in here. Some more nonprofit. Brewery and winery, that sounds like a lot of fun. Nice. Commercial and property management. I want a niche, but I can't make up my mind. That is okay, Savannah. You are not alone. It takes some time. So there are some great education pieces out there on how to choose your niche. And the way that we started was by simply narrowing down the clients that we didn't want to work with. And at some point, Louis, I can probably put together another webinar just on creating a niche, because we've got lots of good content on that too. So thanks for that, Savannah. I think that we found another webinar opportunity here. Okay, so closing the chat again. So action steps. We're getting kind of near the end of our time together, and I want to make sure that we leave time for questions. So upcoming here is the juicy wrap-up stuff that I want to make sure that you really don't miss. So have your pens poised and screenshot ready to snap some pics. First off, get certified. If you're a bookkeeper, get certified through the ICB. The days when any untrained person can post an ad in the phone book under bookkeeper and get clients without any sort of qualification is limited. Bookkeepers who can prove their skills through certifications and endorsements of professional associations will dominate the industry. The phone book at this point is a doorstop. No one's actually looking things up in the phone book. They may find you through Google, but they're also finding everybody else through Google. So what sets you apart? People don't know what a real bookkeeper is anymore. And a lot of business owners are kind of afraid to reach out and find a bookkeeper because some of them have been burned by hiring somebody who it turns out didn't have the experience that they said that they had. And now they want to find somebody who does. So you can show your experience by getting certified. And the Institute for Certified Bookkeepers has wonderful tools for us that are worth looking into. Many of us have various degrees that became obsolete before we even graduated. All accounting professionals need continuing education in order to keep up with these advances in our profession. We need certifications to validate our experience. Now, many apps also have their own certifications, and it's important to note that having a certification in a piece of technology does not necessarily make you a better bookkeeper or accountant. It makes you better at that app solution niche. But it's a good idea to have a foundation of accounting fundamentals to build upon. We got to know our debits and credits. So redefining the term bookkeeper to encompass more than just keeping the day books is in the best interest of the entire accounting profession. And to do that, we need to create and maintain a standard of excellence. It is time for bookkeepers to demonstrate our knowledge on a broader level so that we can make these higher standards the true norm of the profession. No more, no experience required, cringe. Gonna get rid of that. Next, find your niche. Once again, niching. Whether you're a bookkeeper or a tax accountant or a consultant or an auditor, find your niche. Use the individual pieces of software and the industries that you love to serve, to create a niche for yourself. Specialize and hone your skills in the areas that you enjoy most. And that may include compliance. I know people who love doing compliance work and who don't want to offer advisory services. That's fantastic. Let's exchange phone numbers. My business partner, Vanessa, loves the compliance stuff. She loves working in the back end, doing the reconciliations, sending out the reports, doing the analysis, and she is happy to leave the big picture strategy meetings to me. That's part of what makes us such a great team. So I'm not saying be like me. I'm saying be you, whatever that means to you. And then you can team up with the people that balance your favorite pieces with theirs. Each of you is special in unique and amazing ways, whether on the job or in your free time. Playing with puppets on YouTube is not the only way to get attention. And you can use your unique interests and talents and skills to your advantage. Stop hiding your true colors behind a professional veneer. Dare to speak your inner passion loud and clear, and you will find your echo chamber. Your echo chamber is that group of people who naturally resonates with your message, and they will sing it back to you, and then they will sing it to the world on social media. The weirder, the better. There is no need for any of us to work with a client that isn't going to be a favorite client. So develop your niche. Be your full, true, authentic self and go after the clients that you will truly love. Sometimes all it takes is a permission slip for someone to do something that they've been wanting to do anyway. Well, ta-da, I just wrote your permission slip. You're awesome. Don't hide it from anyone for any reason, and you'll be more successful and happy. It really actually is that simple. So next, pass these ideas along. One of the fastest ways to learn something is to teach it. So bring these ideas home to your colleagues locally and focus on deeper communication with them, understanding each other's specialties. Learn what titles our colleagues are using and pass the torch, light somebody else's fire. Recognize the leadership within yourself. Each of you has the capacity to teach others. We do it with our clients every day. Reach out to your colleagues and connect. Some of you may be saying, ooh, leader, I'm not a leader. Everyone is a leader in some way. There's a lot of different kinds of leader. So it's time for us to get out of our own way. My best referrals come from other accounting professionals. So spend time with your accounting allies. You are the spark that will light the way for others. And when our fires join with the others around us, the outcome is so much greater than the sum of the parts. We will shine brightly and be a beacon for our colleagues. Finally, we need to redefine bookkeeper. And when I say redefine bookkeeper, I mean literally we need to change the definition of bookkeeper, and we need to get the dictionary on board with that. And we need all of our colleagues to do it with us. The business world as a whole, our colleagues, our clients, and potential clients need to be made aware that the very definition of the word bookkeeper has changed. As leaders in our profession, it is our responsibility to inform those around us about this important change, redefining our label to match our new identity. The reason many businesses are having a hard time finding bookkeepers is because people don't do manual bookkeeping anymore. If they need someone to enter a year's worth of data, try reframing the conversation to find someone who has an app specialization in Transaction Pro or 2QBO Converse. If you have a client with a bucket of paper receipts, look into Receipt Bank, HubDoc, Expensify, or the myriad of other apps that can help with that situation. There are even services where you can mail the paper and they will digitize it for you. It's not that bookkeepers don't want to help you or your clients with this, it's that they specialize in other things. They specialize in software, and there are bookkeepers who specialize in cleanup projects, but many of them don't do it by the hour. They're not going to do it the old way, and they're not going to do it by the hour. So we need to reframe this conversation and ask the right questions so that we can find the best fit for each other's needs and for our clients' needs. And it's a lot more fun than data entry, I can tell you that. We need to stop perpetuating the idea that bookkeepers just keep the day books and do data entry. This is no longer an entry-level position, and that is a very good thing. So before I leave you with the final closing slide that we're going to leave up as we do questions and sign out, here are some more ways that you can play with me if you like what you've seen here today. You can visit my website, polymath.com, for some great blogs and videos. You can also subscribe to my column on betweenwallandmain.com. There are some great articles there. Really enjoy writing about the big picture, mindset kind of stuff. And check out my YouTube channel where we have bookkeeping and business tutorial videos with puppets. We call it Ask a Bookkeeper because Ask a Ninja was already taken. We have a lot of fun. Like I said earlier, we're working to create for small business what Bill Nye does for science. And that is kind of our passion project. It's not something that is a money-making endeavor for us. All of the solutions on the screen right now are free, and you can use them to help teach your clients. Not everybody wants to make videos and things. So we're currently very picky about what clients we take on. If any of these resources might be useful to you or your clients, feel free to share them. And we love collaborating on creative projects with our colleagues. So if any of you have an idea and want to play with us, please reach out. I also want to say thanks to Louie and ICB for having me today. I will be doing some more webinars through ICB over the next couple of weeks, so be sure to check those out on the ICB website, and also visit polymath.com for those and other upcoming events, as well as information about our accountant bootcamp. The Polymath Accountant Bootcamp is our mindset coaching program for accounting professionals. It's a lot of fun, and you can check it out and see if it might be a fit to help you bring your practice to the next level. So here's where I will leave you. If you post one thing on social media today, please make it the text on this slide. We need to get the new definition of bookkeeper out there, and we need to make it more ubiquitous than the old one. Only by doing this will we be able to harness the changes that are going on in our industry and truly use them to our full advantage. A bookkeeper is a management accounting professional, often specializing in financial compliance, business strategy, technology setup, execution, and maintenance. Thanks so much. Any questions? Looking at the chat.
Yeah, so am I. Well, that was great, Ingrid. I appreciate it. Jennifer North says, great job. I like the definition.
Yay. Says, would we as attendees receive any completion of certification or confirmation email? Anwar, are you talking about as far as for continuing education for this presentation? Is that what you're looking for? Yes. Louis, what's the CPE situation for these webinars?
We haven't set it up, but yes, we'll be sending you something indicating that you spent an hour with us.
Great.
It'll apply for 1 hour of CPD credit. So,
fantastic.
Ingrid, that was fantastic. It's always great hearing you talk. I love it. And we look forward to the other ones. I hope that everybody enjoyed themselves. Ken, you see, it seems like we're getting a lot of great responses here. Thank you so much for this webinar. I have to put my glasses on.
Yay, thank you, Savannah.
It was very
Feel ready to go and have some great ideas in mind. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, be sure to also join us next week. We'll be talking about secrets of master networkers for accounting and bookkeeping professionals. So if you're one of those people who has a hard time getting out there and networking with colleagues, next week we'll be teaching you how. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So please feel free to join us for that. And then the week after that, we're going to be focusing on how to take a consultative approach to our clients' chronic poverty mindset. We're going to be getting into how to offer some of those deeper advisory services.
Fantastic.
Arden's asking, so how did you learn the new apps? I only have my own software and don't have a platform to practice. A lot of it's just jumping in. A lot of the applications have their own certification programs. So I am certified in QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, also in T-Sheets, LivePlan. Those are the best ways. A lot of the applications have their own certifications, and you can learn a lot from partnering with the apps on a closer basis. You can go to the app websites. And if you go to my website, polymath.com, we have a partners page. If you go to polymath.com/partners, you can see some of the apps that we partner with, and there will be links to those apps websites because we like to educate people with the apps that we work with. And can you say again when the webinar will be on offering greater advisory services? That one is the week after next. So there's this Wednesday at 9 a.m. or 12 PST. And then there's next Wednesday, we're focusing on networking. And the Wednesday after that, we're focusing on the advisory services. So that's when that is. And the links to register for those are all on the ICB website.
Yeah, if you go to our website and click on webinars, it's the third one. Let me just see if I can pull it up for you now.
And Louis, is the recording going to be available on the ICB website?
Only for members, but anybody that's attending to this, if they're not a member, what we could do is we could give them a link that they can access.
Great.
But members will have access for all recordings. Live webinars right now are planned now for the short term is to allow them free for everybody to attend, and then the recordings will only be available to members. But
okay.
So this one is the first one. We will definitely.
In case anyone on the call is interested, how do we become members of the ICB?
You just go online and too bad Vladimir's not here. He's our member services guy, and he tends to do all of the online stuff. So if you go on member services and just sign up through our online program. If you have a problem, just contact member services and we'll get you online, get you automatically in.
Great. Anwar is asking, when will we be receiving special offers, if I may ask? What special offers are you looking for, Anwar?
Oh, I sent a text out there or a chat indicating because we were inactive as we were reorganizing and restructuring, we're going to be offering all of our existing members an extension to their membership at no cost, and anybody that didn't feel they were getting any value, which is fair, it's fair enough, we'll be offering them free access if they were a past member for a certain amount of time, and new members will give them special rates when they come out, as they come out. This will all be done in February, by the way. So in February, a lot of you, if you're on our database, you'll be getting emails from us explaining all of this, the new system, the new fee structure, because it's completely changed. And if you want to write the exam, it will be ready sometime in February, so you can be a certified, ICB certified member. Now,
fantastic.
Ingrid wrote the exam and she loved it. I'm just joking. She didn't love it, but it was a good exam.
It's an exam, you know, but the thing that I liked about it was that it really established some of the fundamentals. I have taken exams from other sources, I won't name names, and I found them to be really outdated. Any exam that is still judging us on if we can do bookkeeping in a 6-column ledger really is not effective for testing whether somebody is an effective bookkeeper or accounting professional today. And so that's something to really look into. And I thought the ICB exam was much more effective for that. Like I said, it's building so that it gets a clear idea of whether we have the fundamentals, but we're able to expand and niche beyond that. And it actually touched on not specific software things, but acknowledge that, hey, we're doing this in a piece of software, not on paper, because no one does this on paper anymore.
That's true, and we're definitely looking forward to it. 2018 is going to be a great year for ICB USA reconnecting with the US, and we're going to make it a lot of fun. And thanks to Ingrid to start off our year with these webinars. I am so excited. Volunteered. She's been a great asset to us, guys. She helped us with our syllabus, the content, even the definition. We're close to Ingrid's definition is ahead of its time, I would have to admit. We've had some discussions, but it's on track.
We're getting there.
It's on track. I tend to agree in spirit and heart that professional bookkeepers are the internal management accountants of small and micro businesses. That's who you are. You basically are the backbone of those businesses, and classifying you as data entry clerks is just so wrong.
Yeah. Well, and let's bring our audience into that just a little bit. As far as being ahead of its time, the thing that makes this definition that's on the screen right now a little bit ahead of its time, and why the ICB needed to edit it. So this definition that I created is being used in the ICB's core documents now, which is really kind of cool.
A couple of changes.
Yep. One very major change, which was the exclusion of the word accounting. And the reason for that is because there is legislation in some states that prohibits us from calling ourselves accountants. And in order for us to really make the changes that need to be made in the profession, we have to get the CPA boards on board with this, and recognizing that the word accounting has been around a lot longer than the certified public accountant, and that there are a lot of different kinds of accounting. It's kind of like, I was using the analogy of finches earlier, but for some of us, the analogy of dogs might be better. Accountants are like dogs, and there's a lot of different breeds of dogs. So tax accountants may be the retrievers, and bookkeepers may be the terriers, and there's also a lot of kinds of different retrievers and terriers. And so we refine and niche down, but accountants are accountants, and we are all accountants. And we need to own that and really start working together. And it's not effective to have other accounting professionals looking down on the bookkeeping professionals. It's actually counterproductive for the business owners and for our working relationships as we collaborate. I'm looking through some of the comments. Arden says he's very excited about the changes going with the ICB. Says that's wonderful. I've been a member since May and didn't utilize it much, so he's excited about the extension. Melissa's also excited that ICB USA is back on track. And then Anwar's asking, how long does it take to complete the certification course, and how much does it cost? I would be available, would this info be available on the ICB website?
Okay, that's a good question. First of all, the certification process for us, we've changed it a bit so that there's only one invigilated exam, which is at the very end, which tests you that you're a professional bookkeeper. And that test is designed for people to show their knowledge in a practical environment, and you have a good understanding of what accounting and bookkeeping interacts with in the real world. So that's the main exam. The only qualification we have there is 2 years to write it. So you have to have 2 professional years in bookkeeping or accounting to write it. The rest of it will be based on what you've taken, like if you've had a course or material or educational background, like a degree or certification, like Ingrid's got a biology degree, which is fantastic for accounting. But, so basically that's how it is. I can explain it further. If anybody wants to contact me, let me just put my email up directly. Hold on a second.
Arden says he got his certification through ICB USA after completing Ben Robinson's course. Is that the same thing? Right.
So if you've completed the Ben Robinson course, you've basically become an associate bookkeeper for us. Everybody has to write the final exam. So it's an invigilated exam. So if you have at least 2 years experience, you can easily upgrade to the member level. And if you've had 5 years experience and passed the exam, you become a fellow. The reason why we have the 2 distinctions primarily is because the fact that a 5-year professional bookkeeper is much more advanced and much more familiar with the accounting, particularly if they've been practicing on a firm, compared to someone who's only had 2 years. We all know the difference between 2 and 5.
It's all about experience.
Well, and we should reward experience in my book. So the first, if you've been in the industry for 2 years and you pass the exam, I would say you're pretty good. But after 5 years, you become, I would say, an expert, and you probably have seen a lot more. So that's what we've done with our membership to allow you to be recognized at the levels that relate to you. I hope that helps answer the question.
Great. Well, it is 1:15, so any other questions? Thanks to everyone who stuck around to ask questions. We finished basically right on time, just a minute or two past the hour, so all of the questions is kind of overtime. Anwar's asking, is the certification accepted outside the USA? I'm just curious to know because I actually have a client in the UK.
That's a good question. Not right now. What ICB Global is doing right now with our existing organizations is that we recognize your experience and your level of expertise. What we have to develop, and that's something that we're doing as we're building the global network, is allowing you to write a specific UK exam or an Australian exam or a US exam that focuses on their particular requirements, so that you understand, like, if you the tax and the accounting and the compliance components. And if you pass that, then you're good to go. That component hasn't been done yet. The only way right now that you can do that is you could probably, and you can ask me off screen, send some information from the UK, and you can get certified at ICB UK. And that should help you be able to practice there as well. But you would have to write their exams and go through that process. We're trying to streamline that in the next, I would say, 12 to 18 months.
Great. And Melissa wants to know, before the new exam is there, is there a study guide or at least an idea of what's on it?
Yes, we have an exam syllabus, which shows you all the stuff that may be covered in it. So that's the best we have right now. But what we are providing either late February, early March, is a prep program, which means it'll be a complete prep program with access to content to help you if you're weak on something, and it'll be testing you what will be on the exam. So that comes in our goal is February 28th, but the developer says that if there's any delays, it might be as late as March 31st. So within the next 60 days, we'll have a complete prep program that you can take prior to the exam, or if you want to take it afterwards, that's definitely available. Yes.
Melissa says, thanks, been in the field for years, but still hate going into an exam without having an idea of what's on it. Yeah, I totally feel you, Melissa.
Yeah, we feel you. We feel you too. We have to get the exam done first, and then the prep program afterwards. So in 60 days, you'll have something. If you want to combine the two, by all means. In the meantime, you can become, Melissa, I'm hoping you're a member. If you're not, you can become a member. That would be great.
Yeah, I got to be the guinea pig for the new exam, so that was an exciting little ride. Arden says, thank you both for your presentation and additional information. Yes, I think that we're about set to go. So thanks so much, Louis, for having me today.
Yep. Thank you, Ingrid, and thank you all for being part of this, our first webinar of 2018. Cheers.
We'll see you guys next week for Secrets of Master Networkers.
That's right. Have a great week. Have a great week. Bye now.
Bye.